Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we will discussing Franz Kafka play The Warden of the Tomb. Kafka is known for his thought-provoking writing and this story is no exception. In this video we will provide an introduction and analysis of the play, discussing the key themes and plot points. So let's get started with an introduction. The Warden of the Tomb is an expressionist play written by Franz Kafka, a prominent writer of the 20th century. Kafka is known for his unique writing style and exploration of complex themes. That was written in the winter of 1960 to 1970. It was published for the first time in Description of the Struggle. Next is plot summary. The story could be said to be start in mid media stress, that is, in the middle of an action. Apparently, there have been a conversation between the prince and the chamberlain, who does not agree to the prince's proposal. We soon learn that the prince wants to place a god in the tomb of his ancestor. This, in addition to the warden in the park above the tomb. The warden is brought in, hesitant to speak in front of the chamberlain. The chamberlain exits, and the old warden reveals to the prince the nature of his work and his struggle with one Duke Frederick, who calls to his window at the hour of midnight. The warden also speaks of a Countess Isabella, who wishes to go out of the park to offer the prince her hand, and when the prince ponders this, a servant enters to announce that the princess awaits him. When the prince exits, the chamberlain and steward enter the room. At this action, the warden tries to hide. The steward speaks of the state of the court, that a prince has a dual nature, and that the situation is depressed, apparently in attempts to convince the chamberlain that he would better not follow the prince down the wrong track. Here are some possible headings for the analysis of the play: setting, characterization, symbolism, theme, and irony. First, let's begin with setting. The setting of Kafka's play, The Warden of the Tomb, is not specified in the text, but it can be inferred from the detail provided in the play. The action takes place entirely within the confines of the tomb that the warden is responsible for guarding. The tomb is described as being somewhat isolated and surrounded by a small, unremarkable garden. The tomb itself is made of stone as and described as being cold and damp. The setting contributes to the overall mood of the play, which is bleak and claustrophobia, reinforcing the theme of isolation and the futility of human existence. Next is characterization. Speaking roles include Prince Leo, the Chamberlain, the servant, the warden, the steward, and the prince. And non-speaking role includes the Duke Frederick, the Countess Isabella, and the granddaughter. The, wa- the warden is a complex character who struggles with the feeling of boredom, emptiness, and futility. He is depicted as diligent worker who takes his job very seriously, but his monotonous routine has left him feeling numb and disconnected from the world. He is tormented by a group of strange, frightening creatures that come out at night and disturb the peace of cemetery. While the warden tries to fend off the creature, but they persist in their disturbing behavior, eventually causing the warden to lose his grip on reality. The story is often interpreted as a commentary on human fear of death and the inability to control the natural order of life and death. Next is symbolism. The tomb is a symbol of death and the transience of human life. It represents the finality of existence and morality. The warden's role in the warden roles as the warden of the tomb represent his desire for control and order in his life. He is responsible for guarding the tomb and ensuring that it remains secure and protected. The visitor who come to tomb represent the outside world and unknown. They disturb Warden's carefully control environment and challenge his sense of order and control. Next is themes. During the first line of the play, the character of Chamberlain says, "Let the dead rest in peace." This initial mention of a disturbance to the dead and the wrestling bouts with the blessed ancestor that the warden endures suggests an important theme. Let the past stay in the past. The warden also describes the voice of the undead that haunts him from outside of his house, which suggests a complicated angle on the theme of the past, saying in the past sometime the past will come back irrespective of it is invited. Kafka's use of imagery of the undead and specifically the speech that the warden hears coming from the undead invites interesting discussion of another theme. Language is not always reliable. At one point, the warden emphasizes the futility of speech, as the warden tells the prince that Duke Frederick appears at his door. When he opened his mouth to speak, the wind blows his old breath between his teeth and he bites on it. The frustrated attempts of the Duke to speak represents may represent the frustrated attempts of all speakers to communicate. Some scholars believe that the interplay between the steward, Prince Leo, and the warden is Kafka's dramatic interpretation of the tension around the challenges to the Austro-Hungarian Empire during the World War One. Within this historical context in mind, another theme takes the form of the warning: the pre established order may not prevail. Next is irony. There is strong sense of irony in the play. Warden is isolated in his role as the warden of the tomb, cut off from the outside world and unable to form meaningful connection with other people. However, his isolation is self-imposed as he has chosen to devote himself to the meaningless task of gardening an empty tomb. The visitor who comes to tomb expect to find something of value and importance inside is also the form of irony. However, the tomb is empty, has no meaning or significance, which is ironic giving the expectation of the visitor. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's videos on the Warden of the Tomb by Franz Kafka. We hope this introduction has piqued your interest in the story and encouraged you to read it for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to keep it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more literary content. Thanks for watching and we will see you in the next video.